Welcome to the Real Estate Coaching Club podcast. Today's episode is a big deal for me. It's a big one. So here's the story. I competed against some of the world's best marketers, previous top affiliates, and some AI experts from around the world in Alex Hormozi's most recent affiliate launch of $100 million money models. And I earned my way into the top 10 worldwide. Insane, right? When I started this, I actually had no idea if I could actually pull it off. I didn't even fully believe that it was possible. But when it happened, when my name landed in the top 10, I had to stop and ask myself, what did I do differently to actually make this happen? And the answer came down to one thing that Alex talks a lot about, which is effort. And you don't typically know how much effort you put in to hit your goals. And I figured out what real effort actually means. Because at first, I completely underestimated it. They were at 400 people a few weeks in to be in the top 10 and, right before the event. And I was like, 400? I think I can do that. Nope. I ended up having to do over 4,000 affiliate referrals. And once I realized the true level of effort required, I had to adjust fast. And if I'd had one more day, I could have actually climbed even higher on that list because I'd figured it out. I ended up at number 9 at the last possible minute. The effort paid off big time. It got me a full day with Alex and his team, plus a 20-minute one-on-one conversation with him. Then, to top it all off, dinner at Carver Steak inside Resorts World in Las Vegas with Alex, Layla, and their partner Churn, which was a huge bonus because that was not planned. And let me tell you, they are exactly who you think they are. They're authentic, they're smart, they're humble. His team is world-class and super on top of it. His facility is awesome. Alex himself, even more knowledgeable, generous, down-to-earth, like you'd imagine. Now, I'll be real with you. I didn't even need the full 20 minutes on stage with him. It was awesome, but because I've read all of his book ad nauseum, at least 3 times each, taken all of his courses, watched almost every YouTube video that he's put out and every podcast, I've literally built Recruiting Boss around his specific teaching. So when he spoke, I kind of already knew what he was going to say. Still, I walked away with some powerful insights, and just to make sure that I was on the right track. I wanted to make sure that, I wasn't going off of what he was teaching. He was impressed by my churn rates. He was impressed by my client avatar. And he gave me some advice that showed me that I was going in the right direction. I also had the honor and the disadvantage of going first, which meant no one knew what to expect. So if I'd gone later, maybe I'd been a little bit more relaxed and maybe asked different questions based on what everybody else has said. But the experience was insane. It was incredible. It was life-changing. And here's what you're about to hear. Alex is going to come on stage. He's going to talk about why people need to really just do more of what they're already doing to get where they need to go. Then we're going to roll into my 20-minute meeting with him. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alex Hormozi, me, and Alex Hormozi. Have a fantastic day.
I can't do more because I'm in a, some of you guys might have seen that clip where the guy was like, hey, I want to make my lounge make more money. And I'm like, okay, well, where's your lounge? And he said, in the middle of the Sahara Desert. And I was like, okay, well, that's probably not a good idea. And he's like, so I should advertise more? It's like, no, that's just a terrible idea in general, right? He's like, so I shouldn't be in the Sahara Desert. I was like, dear God. Okay, I'm kidding. He was a champ about it. But this is a real constraint, rarely. If you actually live in bumfuck Kentucky, and 100% of the customers you service are in bumfuck Kentucky, then yes, you will be limited by bumfuck. It will absolutely limit you. But you could also do more of that in another market, right? So it's sometimes it just takes a 1 degree of thinking of okay, well, I could just duplicate this somewhere else, right? This is you'll see how cool this model is in a second. But we're just talking about from the customer's perspective. So it's likely that you are not constrained. I service chiropractors and we're B2B. Okay, great. How many customers do you have? 100. Okay, well, there's 50,000 chiropractors. So do you feel like you're really limited by your market? Do you really feel like you've saturated the market of chiropractors? No, just no one knows you exist, right? And so we need to advertise more. And then we go back to that, right? The next issue is I can't do more because I don't even know what more is because I don't have any metrics. Okay, so we have a data constraint. So we have to figure out what you're currently doing before we can do more of it. So that should be kind of some common sense. So let's get data, but then that becomes the constraint. Okay, great. Once as soon as we have data, then we can go do more. The next issue that'll come up of like, why can't I do more? It's like, well, I'm just not sure my current model is really what I want to be doing long term, or like if this is the best opportunity vehicle for the skills that I have. And there's a lot of like this, like, what do I do with my life? That, right? And the model issue really comes down to like, one of the most common things that I'll end up responding with is features versus bugs. Is that like, so Suzanne Shiflett, who was my CFO at Gym Launch, phenomenal lady, phenomenal CFO. She used to say, Alex, I've been doing this 38 years and all businesses have shit. She was from Deep South. She was awesome. And the point was that like every business has something that's hard about it. And so we often want to switch opportunities because the thing that's hard about this business, another business doesn't have that thing that's hard. It just has another thing that right now you didn't realize is easy for you because that's not a component of the business. So taken differently, like at one extreme, if you're in the cleaning business, cleaning homes, finding people to clean houses for is really not hard. People are very happy to not clean and pay someone else to do it. On the other hand, finding talent who want to clean houses and are competent and show up on time and don't steal and speak English and are honest and blah, 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 right? Really hard. Now, flip that the other way. Finding people who want to talk about fitness, and Eva, you talked about this morning, right? Who want to talk about fitness, who want to talk about helping people. Tons of people will do it and they'll do it for free. The problem is no one wants to sign up for fitness services because no one wants to wake their ass up in the morning and go to the gym. Right? And so like all businesses have components of the business that are difficult. There's gonna be some businesses that are more supply constrained, some that are more demand constrained, but they're all going to have constraints. Otherwise, if there were a business that had truly no constraints, then every business would just of that industry would all just be gazillion-dollar businesses. But they're not, because sometimes for short periods that is true, and then what happens? Lots of competition emerge, and then you have a constraint. Now we have pricing pressure, et cetera. And so the idea that like you're going to find the perfect business and it's just like 1 degree separated from your current one is probably not true. It's just that the hard problem that you have in front of you is the thing that you get compensated for solving. Like that's the game. And so the way that I frame this is like, if I solve this problem, if I have my cleaning business, and I figure out how to have a recruiting engine and a training engine that can take somebody who's low skill talent and get them to be proficient in a way that's more efficient than my competitors, then I have an extra 10 or 20 or $50 million of enterprise value that gets added to my business. All of a sudden, that feels like a much more desirable problem to solve if I know I have a $50 million pot of gold on the other side. And so rather than just saying like, oh, this sucks, it's like, well, for $50 million, I'd be willing to solve it. And so for some reason, that just tends to perk me up a little bit. Okay. But fundamentally, all businesses have shit. All businesses suck to a degree. And almost all businesses, if you stick in them for a long period of time, you can become exceptionally wealthy. Like the guy who owns the building that I live in, he's my neighbor. He owns Panda Express. If he were in this room and he says, hey, he got up and said, hey, I own a fast casual Chinese restaurant. We sell Kung Pao chicken and General Tso's chicken and spicy pine, sweet, that new one, the one that they came out with like 5-6 years ago. Anyways, chicken teriyaki. And, we've got 5 locations and, each location does $3 million a year top line. And we run 27% net margins. Some people in this room would give that guy advice, you should teach other people how to sell chicken. And that would be terrible advice for him. Because what he should do is keep doing it for 45 years and then do $3.7 billion a year in chicken sales with 27% net margins and take home $1 billion a year in cash every year and do it tax-free because he owns all the dirt and the real estate. It just took him 45 years. And so I say this because like most of the goals that you have are probably attainable, just not on the timeline that you gave yourself. And so like even something like think about how shitty, right, of a business model that is. Who wants to scale brick and mortar, fast casual, low skilled labor business? Most people are like, I don't want to do that. Right. Raising Cane's, decabillionaire, owns them all. So like, is it I don't think you can scale that. Yeah, you can with work and skill and time. And so I think that's the piece that like everyone is so concerned about getting really rich in the next 36 months that almost all vehicles can get you super rich in the next 36 years and many, many orders of wealth along the way. We just don't think in those time horizons. And I think that is maybe one of the bigger things that I can give you around model. So why can't you do more? I don't know if my chicken shop is the best opportunity vehicle. Well, if you keep doing it for 10 years, you'll probably be better than most people who do chicken shops. And if you keep leveling up in the game of business, the people we compete against. So if you are in a low opportunity vehicle market, here's the advantage. Your competitors, typically not that sophisticated. If you want to go after AI, whatever, then you're competing against the best capitalized, smartest human beings on the fucking earth. Depends where you want to play, right? All businesses have shit. Okay. The next one is like, why can't I do more? I can't afford to. Now, this is where it gets a little bit hairier. Hairier in that there's more splinters underneath. So you can't do more because leads cost too much. You can't do more because you sell too few. You can't do more because your LTV is too low, right? LTV is too low, sales is too low, or leads is too low. Now, this is where it takes more question answering and kind of pattern recognition to figure out which of the problems is. Because all you know right now is I can't afford it. But you might not be able to afford it because you don't make enough per customer, rather than it being inherently some marketing problem. This happens common, where you have a business that has a front end but no back end, and they're like, man, I'm making sales, but I have no... They don't know that they don't have a back end. They just know that they're not profitable as a business. But it's like, oh, dude, you have a break even or slightly break even acquisition process. Now sell the thing to all those people. Oh, and now this is amazing business. It's just like you're just missing a piece of it. That's an LTV issue, or maybe it's a churn problem. It's like, hey, we're acquiring customers. I think it costs us too much to get customers. It's like, no, dude, you churn out in 3 months. It doesn't matter what the cost of acquisition is. Like, you need to fix churn. Which then has lots of hair on it. Is it a messaging issue, avatar issues, an onboarding issue? Like there's things underneath of that. If it's I can't afford to advertise more to get more people because my leads are too expensive. It's like, well, are they too expensive? Now there are instances where like we have good, like let's say you're in insurance, right? And so it's like, okay, our LTVs are already almost given to us by the insurance companies. We close 30% of people we get on the phone with. It's just like our leads just cost too much. Okay, in that instance, like their leads cost too much. So then there it's like, all right, we have to increase quality of creative, increase quantity of creative. We have to look at CRO within the funnel. All of these things, we have to see if we can have better lead magnets from an offer perspective to generate the lead. And it's like, okay, all of a sudden, all those things can drive down the lead costs, and all of a sudden this business prints. And then you have the middle of the sandwich there. The lead costs are fine. We're making enough per customer. We just can't close a barn door if it had a handle on it, right? And so then we have to look at messaging, we have to look at scripting, we have to look at price points if we have to, we have to look at the follow-up process, we have to look at the training process, we have to look at the onboarding and compensation for the sales guys, or if it's a webinar, whatever it is, right? What's the messaging that we're telling to get someone to take their wallet out and give us money? But each of these things, so if we say, okay, if I solve all of those things, so let's say you're like, I can't do more. Not because I have enough people in my market, I have the metrics to know that like what I'm doing is working, I'm fine being a plumber, I have like the lead costs are fine. We close the amount that we're supposed to. Our LTV is good. I just don't have enough technicians to go and do the HVAC services or do the plumbing, or I don't have enough coaches to do my back end, or I don't have enough whatevers, right? Then you have a manpower constraint. Here's the cool part about this model. And by the way, I did the order wrong. These should be like this. Metrics should be first, then market. It's a cycle. It goes back to the top. So I don't have enough manpower. Great. What do you do to get manpower? Okay, why don't you do more of that? Well, I can't do more of that because I don't have metrics around how I recruit talent. Okay, great. So let's say we solve the metrics. All right, well, there's not enough talent in my specific market for HVAC whatevers. Okay, fine, but maybe there is. Okay, well, I'm not sure if the offer that I have for the guys is compelling enough. Okay, I can't afford to. Okay, well, how much do you make per HVAC rep or per coach or per whatever? Well, I make this. Okay, well then do we have an issue that we need to change in terms of the business to fix our acquisition of talent? Or the acquisition of talent's fine because the business works. Okay, great. And so this whole thing, you just repeat it again on the other side. So this is just how you deconstrain anything, whether it's supply or demand. Is that cool? I think it's pretty sweet. But yeah, this is the mental framework that I use when I'm looking through my own stuff. And then it's consistently just going, once I figure out, okay, this is a manpower issue, I need to do more. What's stopping me from doing more? Now, I'll give you the little management diamond that I do for employees, which is a really good framework for having hard conversations. But if you want someone to do something and they're not doing it, you have like 4 or 5 reasons that they're not doing it, right? The first is they just didn't know that you wanted them to do it. Most common. Hey, did you do that thing? And they're like, what thing? You're like, damn it. I didn't write it down, did I? Okay, so we have to write it down. We have to put a deadline on it. Fantastic. So now I say, why didn't you do that thing? They say, well, I didn't know how to do it. Okay. Well, fine. So they didn't know how to do it. Now let's say we train them. So I told you that you needed to do it. You know how to do it. But you didn't know when I was going to do it by. Oh, I need to do that tomorrow. Okay, so I knew that you needed to do it. You knew how to do it. You knew when to do it. The next is you have something that's blocking you. So I knew that. I knew how. I knew you wanted to do it tomorrow, but you also told me to do 3 other things. Which one did you want me to do? And then finally, you get into this, which is that I didn't want to do it, which in my experience is the first place that we go to as entrepreneurs, and typically the last one that's reality. Most people I have found when they have a job prefer to keep it. And I've also found that most people prefer to feel like they're doing a good job at their job. And so it's usually one of these other issues. And so this provides a really good framework for having those conversations. Now, the reason I bring this up is because we can also have these conversations with ourselves. I know I need to do more. Why am I not doing more? Did I not know that I needed to do more? Well, now I do. Okay, do I not know how to do more? Oh, I don't know how to do more. Great, well, now I have something to attack. That becomes my to-do. If I don't know how to do it, I know what to do, which is to figure out how to do it, right? Is it not urgent enough, right? Or is there something blocking me? I would go recruit more people for my HVAC company, but right now, 80% of my time is dealt with these customer service issues that are coming up onesie twosies all day. Okay, great. How much does it cost to replace the onesie twosie thing? Cost me $60,000 a year. I have $400,000 in profit. Am I willing to go from $400,000 to $340,000 in profit in order to get 80% of my time back? Yes, but that means I'm going to make less money. Yes, today. But then I'm going to get 80% of my time back so that I can then focus on how to figure out how to do more. And so it's taking second and third order consequences down to their natural end, and then ultimately being like, okay, this is what I need to do. I literally went through this process. So post-launch, for me, I was like, okay, I have this bandwidth back. What's the next constraint of the business? And for me, it was 6 questions down for me to be like, that's what the issue is, and that's what I'm focused on. And so right now, 80% of my time is dealing with that constraint, which is I'm heavily recruiting executives right now. That's what I'm doing with my time. Yesterday I had 4 executive meetings and I have follow-up notes and connections afterwards that I have to do. That's what my time's right now because that's the constraint of the business. And then once that finishes, because those people get onboarded and they do a good job, I'll go through this again. Does that help? Okay, cool. Who is our first person?
Recruiting Boss is going to be first.
Frank from Recruiting Boss.
Give
Welcome
it up
to the
for
stage,
Frank.
man.
Please clap it up for Frank.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Here, I'll turn this over. Yeah, we might. I'll leave it up. I'll just point. I'll be like, oh.
First of all, thank you so much. I am really grateful to have this opportunity. I have consumed your content ad nauseum for so many years that.
So sorry.
Well, up a year ago, I was running real estate offices in
Okay.
Los Angeles. I was the team leader of one office, and I had another office in Bakersfield, and I quit because your content, I put together my business, which is Recruiting Boss, and I'm able to get 30 to 100 recruiting leads per month for a real estate office or
Alright.
somebody with Real or EXP or something
Cool.
like that.
So you know Sharon then?
I know of Sharam. I
Okay.
haven't met him yet.
Oh, no.
But he'd probably appreciate my model.
Yeah.
So I literally quit. One day I was making 6 figures. Next day I was making $800 a month with my 2 offices running my own program. We scaled to over 70 offices in the last year. I'm super conservative about everything that I'm doing because I've hired poor.
Okay.
I've made a lot of mistakes, so I'm trying not to do that now. So I'm trying to figure out, I have key man risk.
Yeah.
And I am at a point to where I need to do more of some of these things here, and I haven't. I pulled the trigger last month on the last of the core 4 because I figured if I'm going to be here, I should probably do all the things.
Yeah.
And so I pulled the trigger on Facebook ads. Okay. My business increased 25%.
Amazing.
And so now things are breaking.
Yeah.
So now I wanted to do 2 million in the next 12 months, 6 to 12 months.
Okay.
I think my mindset is a little low on that. I think it could be more because my TAM is something like $1 billion.
Sure. Okay.
And so I'm trying to figure out what path I need to go because since the launch, I've put in 2 money models.
Okay.
That
how they work?
They're going to work very well because so I had.
He's like, they sucked.
No. So churn was a problem because
okay.
I'm giving, like, you're a real estate agent, I'm giving you 30 to 100 recruiting leads.
Yeah.
Expecting you to be able to close them.
They can't handle. Yeah.
They can't. So like you can give leads to real estate agents, you can give leads to people, but they can't close them.
Yeah.
I was able to close 80 to 90% of the recruits that I would meet with face to face.
Yeah.
So I put together a course that's an upsell based on your book that I haven't even built it yet.
Sure.
Already sold a bunch of them.
Okay.
And then I have a bunch of leads that come through that are not licensed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, I don't want unlicensed leads.
Yeah.
It's actually, they should get unlicensed leads. Those are actually good opportunities. I created a partnership with one of the largest real estate schools in the nation. And now I have an opportunity for an affiliate with them to basically handle the unlicensed leads.
What's the constraint?
Ops is breaking right now.
Your office is?
Your ops. My ops. Because I'm key man risk.
Well, I'm key man risk too. So not, I die, this gets hard. So I'll before we dive deeper into that, I will just make this point, which is that all strengths on a longer time horizon become liabilities. And so if you're the absolute best marketer in the entire world and your company grows like crazy because you're the best marketer in the entire world, well, when that best marketer in the entire world who works for your business dies, tough, right? If you're also the best product guy in the entire world, it's like it's this big advantage, Steve Jobs, right? And then all of a sudden, like, he's not there. Now, you can build lots of enduring value. You can have just how long is it before either you get replaced or the component parts of what you do can get replaced, or maybe there's some combination of those things that makes it very, very difficult to find somebody who's like you. I don't know. But I would just say, like, unless you're in the like, I need to sell this company on some short time horizon, I wouldn't be as concerned about Keyman for right now. Second thing. So right now, you said, like, I feel like my mindset's limited around the $2 million mark or the goal that you have, right?
It was $2 million. It was $2 million. I think it could be more.
Yeah. I generally ignore, I spend less and less time on, like, my outcome-based goals and almost all of my time on what are the input-based goals. And that makes this much easier because it's not like, oh, I don't deserve a $2 million or $10 million means a lot to me. It's just like, well, does 1,000 emails mean a lot to you? Not really. You know what I mean? But all of a sudden you, like, do the math and you're like, oh, 1,000 emails an hour for my company means 100 million a year. You're like, well, can I solve 1,000 emails an hour? Yeah, I think so. Then it's like, well, if that's what happens, amazing. Maybe you shoot and it's 50, maybe it's 150, who knows? But, like, we only know what we can do. So I would just, like, the more you can separate that, I think will be helpful. But in terms of the business, right now, do you need, like, what is stopping you from doing more? You said ops, but what does that mean?
So it's fulfillment on the client side.
Okay,
so,
delivery. So do we have churn issues?
So I'm fixing the churn issues. My churn is 4% per month. Okay.
I mean, actually pretty astonishing considering the avatar you're going after.
Right.
Yeah, they're really broke. Do you have qualifications for the people who are the type of realtor that you serve?
No, it's just anybody that wants to create rev share and create and grow a team.
That's insane that your churn is at 4%. That's wild. I won't touch
per
that
month,
anymore.
not annual.
Yeah, no, still, that's still for that avatar. It's really good. Okay, so your 4% monthly churn, and so you're saying your ops was breaking. What was the quantified metric that told you ops was breaking?
My time. So I am
So
getting.
you're busy.
I'm busy. So when I turned on Facebook ads 45 days ago, I literally copied your Facebook to a T, because in it you say there's going to be a point where you lose money.
Yeah.
That never happened.
Yeah.
I started getting leads right away.
So you just read the book and did the stuff in the book?
I went through the course
Okay, got it. Yeah.
20 times.
Okay.
And, like, two-way T, and
So it worked.
so, like right as we're sitting here, I'm getting leads, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, because now I have to go fulfill those, and it's really just me.
Yeah. So wait, how big's the team right now? You have none?
I have some VAs.
Okay, you have VAs. All right. So do we need to fix the lead conversion issue, as in like you got to follow up with these leads?
I have,
Or,
so they get booked right into a Calendly meeting, and I have about a 70% close rate.
okay. But you're taking all that time. So what are you not doing that you used to be doing now that you have these new leads coming in?
So right now, today, I'm fine, but when I turn up the heat on the Facebook leads,
Yeah.
which I'm going to do when I leave here, that's when I'm not going to be able to.
So I would encourage you to not turn it on, and instead just hire the 2 people or 2 more VAs that you need for onboarding and customer success or whatever it is, because then you'll feel that vacuum of like, oh my God, I have these people, like I need to go fill the bucket up. If you do the other way, it's gonna be really stressful. And so currently you're probably pretty profitable, right? Because it's you and VAs, right?
Yeah,
So you've got margin to spare.
64% gross
Yeah.
margin.
So gross or net?
64% gross, 50% net.
Okay. So this will kind of apply to everybody, because everyone reaches points where you're like, okay, I'm right at that teetering point of, like, you're at equilibrium right now. Like, if you don't turn the ads on, it's like you can handle the amount of deal flow you have, you can handle the amount of delivery, but if you do more on either, you're like, well, what do I do, right? And so whenever you're at one of these points, one of 2 things takes a hit. Either your profit takes a hit or your reputation takes a hit. It's your choice. And so if you increase the demand side before you increase your supply, your ability to deliver, then you're going to increase the profit of the business because you're going to make more money in the short term. But then you'll have more pissed off clients, and you'll take a little bit of reputational hit, right? Because it's not as good as it should have been because they're getting more diluted service. On the other hand, if you say, I'm willing to take my margin from 50% to 35% for the next 3 months, but in so doing, then be able to re-increase the top line and then move myself back to 55% net or 60% net because then I have greater capacity. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It's kind of the way I've thought it. I used to, and this is like kind of shows like some experience and stuff. Like I used to say, just increase demand. You'll find out where your inefficiencies are in the business because at least now you'll have money to go solve it. And I can make an argument for that. But I have found that some businesses, like they really are just going to get screwed and they just cannot handle more. And so like, if you think that you're like, I say I'm in equilibrium, but the guys could take an extra, 10 or 20% on, then it's like, great, you crank that, but then you're actually still in the exact same position you come back to, which is like, okay, I found out that we did have some holes, but now we're really at the constraint. And then it's like, what do I do again? You're either going to sacrifice reputation or you're going to sacrifice profitability in the short term. And so I will make this point that like the bigger our stuff has gotten, the longer the reinvestment periods before the realization of profits is. So when I was earlier on in my business, you're going to sacrifice profitability for like a month or a couple weeks if you bring this, these people on. Not a huge deal. If I make a big investment now, it's like I might throw 6 months of profits at something that's a big investment. And if you look at some of these publicly traded companies, you'll see like, oh yeah, they had, it's going to take us probably like 4 to 6 quarters before we're going to really see the return on this. But they can think about that because they're thinking in longer time horizons. And in general, the bigger the biggest business, the longer the time horizon you can think of. So it makes sense that we're compressing the timeline. But by and large, back to today, I would hire the 2 VAs that you probably need in order to do the back end, and then I would crank the ads.
Is there a difference between hiring a VA and hiring an in-person person for operations, or does it matter?
I think being very clear about what is the job to be done, what are the behaviors that have to occur in order for a customer to get a good result. And then I think the job of the entrepreneur is to allocate resources in the most efficient way possible to get that job done. Some jobs, like Ed, can't be remote. If he was zooming in and being like, all right, everybody, I think that would be a poor experience. And so it's not worth it. Do we have people who do accounts payable and accounts receivable that are remote? Yes, because it confers no real additional value for them to be in person. And so if you know what has to be done, I think there are exceptional talent overseas. There's PhDs that'll work for $25 an hour and always show up on time and don't complain. So it really like, it's super competitive outside of the US. Sometimes we forget, but there's exceptional talent there. There's also exceptional talent here. It costs more, but sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it costs more and it's worth it.
Thank you.
Oh yeah,
That was amazing.
Yeah, great. Anything? I mean, it's your time. I think. What do we have on time, Ed or anyone? Dude, we got 9 minutes, dude. Wars have been won and fought in 9 minutes. So what else do we want to cover? So that's what we're gonna do, right? So we're gonna scale it up. Anything else that's holding you back from doing that? Like okay? So let's play it out. So what are you doing to get the VAs? Let's talk more about the person. So what are the roles? So you have CS probably.
So I need somebody for fulfillment on the back end, and there's just a bunch of back end things as far as like, because we run ads to get the leads. So it's running the ads, it's making sure the ads are always top of the funnel and all of that. And so I need somebody that's on the back end handling all of that.
Yeah, that's not hard to
and
find.
then just onboarding in general for the clients that are coming on.
So I would say the back end stuff for sure, VAs would work fine. For the onboarding, what's run rate right now, revenue wise?
My monthly gross, 30,000 a month.
Okay, so you're at 30. Yeah. I'd be okay with the VA for the onboarding as well. Just make sure they're good English, good presentation. And I mean, you'll be able to tell that pretty quickly in the interview. Like, do I really want to keep talking to this person? Do they seem upbeat? Do they seem timely, well kept, et cetera? Because that's what a lot of, the onboarding process for something that you have is. That's probably, so those are the two roles you really need to find. And I mean, that's probably going to cost you in total, like maybe $2,000 or $3,000 a month tops.
So I've always hired on the opposite side. I've never hired in advance. So this is something different. And I think that's where my reticence is when it comes to hiring people. Yeah. And so hiring those people, and then at what point would I crank my ads?
Well, once you hire them and they're trained up, crank it. Now, part of it's going to be like they're going to have to learn and they're going to mess up a little bit, but at least it's not them coming into a shitstorm. They're going to come in with capacity. So they might have a half calendar where they're taking new clients on. You have your existing calendar that's currently still working. They take a half calendar, which takes up your excess capacity. But then the rest of their time is training to get better. So that as soon as, and I would have some objective metric for them of like, as soon as the, post onboarding NPS is above 10 or, whatever the score is that you feel good about, not NPS, but, CSAT would be above 10. You're like, okay, cool. Then you're good to go. And this is how you graduate. And so that way they know really clearly, like, okay, you're going to go from a half calendar to a full calendar as soon as these scores go to here. And then that way they have something to, to shoot for. And they're like, okay, well, how do I get it to a 10? It's like, follow the script, follow the steps, make sure you check all the boxes. Like, that's it.
The money model that I put into place is an upsell on a course to basically help them close more than they're closing, so they actually use my service longer. And then the second money model is an affiliate program through a real estate school to basically...
I would give them a rebate if they go through the whole course. Because there's the component of like, can I sell it so you collect more cash up front, which offsets CAC, et cetera, and gets maybe a little bit more emotional investment. But I think if you say I'll give you half back or whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's just as long as it's something that makes it's material enough that they would actually go through it. And I put a timeline on it. So I'd say like, hey, if you go through this, how long is the thing going to be?
The course?
Yeah.
It's gonna be super short. It's not super complicated.
Okay, so let's say it's 3 hours. Yep. Okay. So it's like, if you go through the whole 3 hours within the first 7 days, we'll give you your first month free. Because they still paid. So it's not like they're, freebie seekers. It's like, we'll credit your first month. Which then means your real cost is whatever your hard cost of getting the 200 leads is or the 100 leads is, which is not going to be too bad.
Got it. And the second model is an affiliate program with a real estate school, because I'd say out of, like, say somebody gets 100 leads, 40% of those are new people that are not licensed. And most people don't want them. And so I partnered with the school to say, basically, you get these new licensees, we'll follow up with them, we'll make sure they get licensed, and then we'll push them back to you. Yeah. And then when they get licensed, I get an affiliate from the real estate school. Yeah. Is there any other models that you think would work with my business?
No, I think that's clean. I wouldn't try and like say, oh, I'm going to start my own. Like, now you're in two businesses. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I was trying to do all these extra things, and then every podcast I listened to, you were like, 7 deadly sins, focus. And so I'm like, I got it, focus. So when I removed all of that, that's kind of like when everything started ramping up, and now...
That's crazy. So you focused on one thing, and you're able to do it well. I think the affiliate thing's fine. This kind of goes for everybody, but one of the best ways to offset the cost of somebody who does onboarding, especially if you're in a business where you like have to set someone up with multiple softwares, this is more common in either vendor space, like if you're a vendor to B2B. Actually, it's really if you sell anything where someone begins on a journey, whether it's a fitness journey, a a business journey or like they're starting a new, anything in that regards, there's typically a handful of tools that they need to get. You will almost always be able to cover the cost of the person who does the onboarding by just through affiliate relationships. And so like Gym Launch, for example, someone needed to sign up for CRM, in the early days, it might've been supplements that before we had ours, and 2 other things that they need. So I had my onboarding rep, her KPI was the first thing she would do is she would just click all of our affiliate links with them and make sure that 100% of people clicked our affiliate links to get that stuff set up. And within the first month, the MRR from affiliates was like $5,000 or $6,000 a month, which covered her. And then every month thereafter was profitable. And so if you have an onboarding process where someone actually has to start doing some sort of tools, having that can just offset because you're like, I'm hesitant to bring someone on. It's like, well, you can make them a profit center.
Is there any point that I could replace myself as far as the sales and the meeting presentation
for sure.
and stuff like that?
I would say sales will happen first. Media is going to be as long as you want, right? So like, can someone replace Alex? I'll say it differently. Is Taylor Swift getting up on stage and being like, I just wish someone else could sing these songs for me? Like sometimes there's just something to be said for being the talent. Is there a way to do it? Yes. I think the question is why. Like, do you hate it?
No.
Okay.
No,
So I mean,
super easy.
I think that you'll want to keep going on this path until you get significantly larger, because then you'll have resources, because then you can like bring other people in, you can have other spokespeople, you kind of distribute it. And then you can start really building like the brand more than just you as the thing, but people are attracted to people. And so it makes sense that for at least the foreseeable, you'll be the face of it, and that's okay.
I mean, I've really tried not to hire because your story is like you said, it was you, Layla, and an assistant, and you guys were doing millions, and I'm like, well,
we were doing like $300,000 or $400,000 a month. To be clear, it wasn't like we were doing.
But still, it's like 10 times more than me, and so I'm like, I don't think I need to hire anybody right now. So that's kind of like why I've been reticent about.
Layla was probably having panic attacks, though. I'm sure. And if you asked her, she probably like it was horrible, and she probably has PTSD over it. So like I was like, don't hire anyone. Like keep all the money. But if you think about for you though, it's like if you go from 15,000 take home off 30 to 12, and you get all the time back, like whatever. Because the next month you'll grow back, you'll go from 30 to 40 and you'll make it all back.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to get over 100 by the end of the year and then
You can do
250
it.
by 6 months after that.
Totally.
So
Yeah, that works. We'll give it up for Frank.
There we go.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you.